I'm not a scientist. I'm not an expert in footballs. I'm not an expert in football measurements.
I don't want anyone rubbing them, putting any air in them, taking any air out. To me, those balls are perfect, and that's what I expect from a goal.
I can't hold on to football. It's so goddamn hard about holding on to it.
It is a glorious final Monday in August. We are 10 days away from the first NFL kickoff on Thursday night. Most people's kids are back in school, and fantasy draft season is in full bloom. Today's Fantasy Millionaire episode is focusing on rounds 7 through 12, braids and fades. I'm Mike, aka Cash. That's Scott, aka Stacks, aka Pumbaa. Pumbaa.
Oh my.
How was your first day back at school?
It was not terrible. It was good. I'm definitely getting long in the tooth, getting old. I'm in the last third of the career. So 10 more years until I can retire. So two-thirds down. And no complaints. No complaints. The kids are getting younger and younger. And my favorite story was one of my friends. I'm not going to say his name. He had to get a drink, right? So the drinks upstairs don't work. You got to go like a while to go get a drink, right? Which is fine. I released him to go get a drink. He went for about 5 minutes, comes back, raises his hand. I go, hey, what's up? And he's like, I'm so thirsty right now. I'm so thirsty, from the walk to get the drink. And I was like, well, you should have drinking a lot more when you just went to the water source. Like you understand. He's like, I need to go right back. I was like, no, it's like a 5-minute round trip. I was like, you have to shut it down for a couple minutes at least, before you
I like
do
this
that.
kid.
It's just, but like he didn't understand like his resource management. You know what I mean? He went there and
Or he's trying to get a bathroom break. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Not?
it wasn't.
No.
No, it wasn't one. He was like begging me for water. He's like, I'm so thirsty, and I was like, right, but you just went to get the water. Like you had the source of the thirst.
Huh.
It was quenchable, and you just took like I could just see him there, like a little stream, just a little like. It comes back and he's like, oh man, I made a bad choice. I need the water. So he got some. I'll let him go back again, but not immediately. You can't raise your hand after you get back from water and go, I didn't get enough. Like that's on you, bro. So, but just fun little stories like that. Nothing too bad,
Yeah, I guess in the elementary school age, they don't know about taking bathroom break. I would go to the bathroom every single class by the time I was in high school.
No, I mean sometimes it does happen. Kids kind of get just they need a break and stuff. I get that. No, this guy he was dying of thirst. He needed the water, and he didn't think to drink more. So I told him second time. I said, don't come back until you've guzzled as much as you can. Just bring it all back, man. Save none for anyone else. So,
dude, my kids are not back in school yet.
What? Oh shoot, that's not great. What's going on there?
The school is started virtually. Where they move school buildings.
Okay, that happens.
And the temporary school building, because the new school building's not going to be ready till like late October, November. The new school building that they just found like last second on the fly, that's not ready. Ooh. So my 4-year-old
ready.
So they had to start virtually. My 4-year-old and my 6-year-old, it's a joke. They got longer summer vacations. So
how long are these virtual classes that you are entertaining? I mean, that they're being entertained through.
I didn't have to do the COVID thing because my son was, I guess, I don't know, pre-K 3 then. Mm-hmm. So I never went through what all the other parents went through, where they had to like teach their kids virtually.
Mm-hmm. Terrible.
Yeah. What's happening here? Nothing. They're not going to school. Like, I mean, like I don't know what people did with first graders and pre-K 4 kids in COVID, but I don't know what you're supposed to do preschool wise with pre-K 4. At least with my son, you could like maybe give him some letters and stuff and he can kind of draw, but still it's a joke. So we're still living in, our kids are on summer break, which is, I'm done with summer break. I can't. I can make it through just this last week. Like, I'm so sick of my kids. I'm
I can hear the
so
Pink Floyd
excited
song.
for them.
Teacher,
Oh, I can't.
leave them kids alone. You're
I
like,
can't
no,
wait for.
teachers, don't leave
Yeah,
them alone.
get up in their
Get 'em.
ass.
Yeah,
Get
get
get them. Get them.
Get them, boys. Well, I didn't have to get anybody, but tomorrow I'm gonna have to talk to some of the boys because at the end of the day, when their bus was called, I thought there was a patrol outside our door. There was not. I hear screaming and running once they turn the corner. I mean, nothing I can do about that. I'm in the class with the rest of the kids. But I mean, it sounded like there was a jailbreak going on. So people were excited to leave, which, you know, if I say anything, I keep them wanting to leave. You know, that's my motto. At the end of the day, happy to come home, you know. So no,
Yeah.
we had a good game. We played sound speedball. We got to know each other better. I loved it. No academic stuff today. Nothing tough. Just good old relationship building, meet and greet, we call it.
Nice. How many drafts you got left?
I believe I've got 3 left. One of them is our draft coming up on Saturday, the BFFs, which I am the co-champion of that league. Basically, I was up, and I was down by 3 points, 3.8 or something, 2.9, something like that. And the Hamlin situation occurred, and so T. Higgins in that game made the catch that he actually got hurt on. He gets one more catch for 20 yards. I win championship. So given that the situation happened, we called it a draw, and co-champed it up. So I'm excited for that draft. And then we have the local draft, and then we have the Fantasy Millionaires draft. So we've got a slew of them. But the
Millionaires
BFF
draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all big ones.
I think we're down one person. So anybody listening that wants to
who's out? Who's out?
Alex Tassanovich is out.
Sucked. He's such a bitch. I'm kidding. But he did.
Yeah.
Suck.
He's no longer a Fantasy Millionaire. So peace out.
Bye.
Wish you well, sir. Yeah.
Miami says peace.
Yeah, definitely getting excited for the home league draft on Saturday.
Bub's coming in. Bubbin' and Bubs.
Listen, you know, I'm 43, you're 48. So psych, you're 44. We're I don't know if there's going to be the same amount of draft shenanigans that there has been in the past. Will there be anyone passing out and getting penises drawn on their face at the BFF?
Yes. There definitely will be. We know that there'll be. I'm just hoping that the adulterer doesn't come to the draft. That's just, you know, if the adulterer comes, he might get a penis or two drawn on him. We'll see. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. That could be anybody. I don't know.
I could be a lot of people.
So the one you're thinking about is not coming to the draft, FYI.
Okay.
That's confirmed. Yeah.
Okay. No adulterer coming to the draft. All right.
Well, that doesn't mean there's not an adulterer coming to the draft.
You know what I mean? Not that adulterer.
It's like mafia. I mean, nobody knows.
Yeah. Right. That's true. Well, some people know when you lose your family, you know what I mean? So when your whole family, you lose them, you know, in the divorce, not like you lose them, you know. But
yeah, well,
no, I'm excited.
The one you're thinking of that's not in our league is not coming.
Oh, good. Yeah.
There's not going to be any outside adulterers in the league.
Right. So only adulterers who are in our
league. BFF, you know,
good.
The unknown adulterers.
Think of a few, honestly.
Who knows? Not gonna lie. Who knows?
Who does know?
Who knows? Who knows who's going to have a penis drawn on their face at the end of the night? I don't think we'll have any Four Loco stories any type of I don't think there'll be any male nudity as there has been in the past.
No, nothing like that.
Our days in our early 30s drafts, they're legendary, and we'll just talk about them.
Oh my goodness. Those were some of the craziest, best days of my life. I'm not gonna lie.
Those were the best days of my life.
I mean, seriously, let me tell you a quick story because we got a minute or two. I got a fake lotto ticket that was a winner for $50,000, and it was a big fake. And my friend decided he was going to take Adderall and take a bunch of it. And so he took so much Adderall, took like, I don't know, 180 milligrams. Who knows? He was dying. Right, the next day, totally dead, hungover, and we were drafting. He had a blanket over him. I gave everyone real lotto tickets, but him. He got the fake one, and then he won $50,000. Right, and he went from 0 to hero in like a split. The adrenaline that went through his body when he thought he won $50,000. He was so excited. And the whole mood of the draft just went from like, okay, we all just, tired and hungover to we just won. People were dancing around going, we just won. And so
other
Cash,
people thought they were getting some of that money for some
there was
reason.
a cut going on. Right.
Yeah.
So Cash, here's the best part. I knew it was a winner. So I said, hey, anybody wins 50-50, me and you, right? Me and you. Right. So right away, as soon as this jerk won, he was already trying to think about how he could cut me out of the 50K he didn't win. And then so when that happened, my boy Mike Cashgallon said, let's read this. Let's figure it out. Let's get to the bottom of it. Turns the ticket over. He reads, it for sums over $50,000. Yeah, it was $50,000 or $25,000, whatever it is. He goes, yeah, this is over. He goes, please consult Santa Claus.
Yeah, bill all entries to Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny.
Right. And then Mike holds up. He's like, it's a fake. It's a fake. And my friend, who was now adrenally dumping, had the worst draft ever. He finished last that year. He was also the commissioner of the league and the Adderall bandit because he stole all those Adderall from his best friend who was passed out. That
was the best real life prank I've ever seen in my life. The fake lottery ticket.
Fake
it's
lotto
legendary.
Ticket.
Yeah.
People lost their shit over that. So but we're hoping you don't lose your shit, and we're hoping you also don't lose your draft. And so the premise of our show, besides just mucking it up and fucking it up like we like to do, is to talk rounds 7 through 12, and we're just going to hit on the key guys. Now, it doesn't mean the other guys might jump in here, might tip of the tongue, but we've got a group of set guys that I like, that Mike likes, got a couple of crossovers, and we're just going to kind of go round by round and talk about and sell the case for each of these. So we're going to kind of go by ADP, and we've been going by 4for4 ADP. Mike's been looking at Fantasy Pro, so there might be a little bit of a discrepancy because, that's just kind of how it goes between a couple different sites. But I have 4for4 rankings up here, and so I wanted to ask you if you wanted to kick us off or if you wanted me to kick it off. I mean, you can go
ahead and kick us off. I think your guy for round 7, who I think. Yeah, I think he's
fringe round 8 in here, but it's I mean, listen, it's round 7, round 8. It's in that same window. You're drafting both these guys in the same area. So we'll just kind of go counterpoint here and talk about our guy and why we like them better. So my guy's Jahan Dotson. Your guy is Gabe Davis, separated by about 7 picks. We're talking about wide receiver 34 and wide receiver 38. According to 4for4's ADP, which means they're just basically the same price. You're getting them in the same area. I love Jahan Dotson. He is a wide receiver 2 theory candidate this year. I wrote about him, his separation, his speed, his touchdowns. You can't always count on the touchdowns, but I like what I saw, particularly downfield. Guess who throws a hell of a deep ball?
Sam Howell?
Our boy Sam Howell. Yeah. Terry McLaurin was targeted the 4th most on deep routes last year. 4th most, right? I can really easily see there's some change in the guard a little bit there. And that going from 4th for McLaurin and 29th for Dotson, not shifting it back and forth, maybe 10th and 15th or something like that, right? And so that gap is going to narrow. And Jahan Dotson, his price is increasing right now, so hopefully you got him a little earlier because of the injury to Terry McLaurin, who's going to kind of be sidelined right up to the beginning of the season. Don't really know what's going to happen, but we know Dotson's going to be there, so he seems pretty solid as a rock. I just love what he brings. First round draft capital, and then last year, like I said, when he played, he was like 1 or 2 points behind Terry McLaurin when he played the last 5 or 6 games of the season in average points per game. So it wasn't like they were that far separated in the last half of the season.
What happened with him last year? He got a hamstring injury or something like that. He
got injured like week 6 or something. I can look it up real quick and see. I can do the Jamie on the Joe Rogan experience and get behind the scenes. Let me look at his injury last year.
So I know last week on Braids and Fades, we were not on the same people, and we have different people that we're both into, but Jahan Dotson.
It was a hamstring. Yeah.
So Jahan Dotson, for me, I'm with you. I am surprised to see he's moving up the board, and
he
the
is,
reason,
for sure.
the reason why he's moving up the board too is the Terry McLaurin turf toe injury. So I think, to me, honestly, the place I've been looking, I haven't really seen him that high. But you talk about wide receiver 2 theory. I mean, the idea behind you're the author. The idea behind wide receiver 2 theory is that you have offenses which are going to produce 2 high-end receivers, and you take advantage of that second wide receiver. Because offenses like the Bengals, the Dolphins, Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith with the Eagles. I mean, these guys all finished, top 15. The second wide receiver on that team. I mean, I don't really know where I'm at with the Commanders, but here's the thing: in terms of wide receiver 2 theory, he has the potential to be the wide receiver 1. So,
right.
I mean, that's the cool thing about wide receiver 2 theory is you're picking this second guy who has the upside. Like, I know you think Devonta Smith could potentially outscore AJ Brown this year, so
It's close. It's close,
right? And if it's close, that's
ADP.
great. If it's close, that's great. That's why I like Jahan Dotson. Terry McLaurin has a turf toe injury, so I can see this big spike that's been happening now on his ADP. And I don't hate it, man. I think, all 3 of these guys that we're about to talk about. So for me, Gabe Davis, and then Zay Flowers, they're all right here in this kind of round 7-8 milieu.
Yeah, and I didn't write about Zay because honestly, he's being drafted as the wide receiver 1 kind of over there. So he's not in my write-up, but I love Zay Flowers. I have him on several teams, and Gabe Davis is on a couple of my teams as well. So these are guys who I do feel comfortable drafting here, and I want to hear what your case is for Gabe, besides the idea that Josh Allen produces touchdowns to wide receivers, which it depends. Is what.
When I'm going into drafts, right, you have your players that you're targeting if they're there, especially when players fall, right?
Yes.
To me, I think it's always sharp when you're drafting to take advantage of a previous year's discount. Okay.
Yes.
Gabe Davis is round 7 or 8. Okay. He was going in like round 4 last year. Okay. There was so much hype going into his season. And then he did have kind of like an MVS kind of season. He had only 93 targets, only 48 receptions, still ends up with 836 yards and 7 TDs. But to me, this is the crucial piece of information where I'm willing to take advantage and buy this dip, where he's 4 rounds behind where he was last year. He was getting all the hype from the previous year from his playoff performance. And then just everybody was like, oh yeah, he's going to be, it's like wide receiver 2 theory. It's here's this guy on this powerful offense. And, Stephon Diggs is the alpha, but then you have this, 1B kind of player that, is averaging crazy amounts of air yards, and I don't think that changes. I mean, last year still he was number 3 in yards per reception. So the crucial piece to me that I didn't know until just, doing this Fantasy Millionaire show and getting ready for the season is that last year he had a high ankle sprain that he got in like week 2 or something like that.
Yeah, he's dinged up.
And that was a lingering injury that he basically just played through. Somebody was talking about I think it was Matthew Berry was talking about how he interviewed the coaches and was like, what are your thoughts about Gabe Davis? Like, how he performed last year. And they're like, well, we thought he did great. I mean, he was playing through an injury all last year. And Matthew Berry was like, huh? Like, I don't remember that. And then he went back and looked and realized, like, at the week 2, I believe it was, he got a high ankle sprain. So to me, I think he fits into that wide receiver 2 theory model where you're Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen he's not getting slept on, right. But like right now it's kind of, Mahomes, Hurts, Allen. And meanwhile, Josh Allen, if they'd have played that week 17 game, had the shot to be the number 1 quarterback overall. I mean, he was just dicing it up last year, and that's with, a dinged up Gabe Davis. So, to me, I'm excited if he's around. I'm not reaching for Gabe Davis because I do think, he is going to have his boom or bust weeks. Like an MVS comparison.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to take that gamble. And but the player I think I want more is Zay Flowers out of all of these guys. I think I'm most geared up. I'm gay for Zay this year.
Someone should be.
I'm trying to get him on as many teams as I can, dude. I really am. Like, everything I'm hearing about Zay Flowers this year is that he's just blowing everybody away, like, in camp. And we've already seen, some film. We've seen some preseason. He I don't know. I mean, I think it's a pretty big set of shoes to fill, but the comp on him is Antonio Brown.
Sorry, I had to kill a fly. That's how I do it. Just killed a freaking horsefly.
You get him?
Yeah, I did. Of course I did. I used my daughter's card too to kill it. This bad boy that she made for me. Look at this thing. I just want to show you. This is so cool. Inside, it's got freaking movie tickets. You can take a freaking ticket. You want to pull a ticket out? Take a ticket. She made them. So I love that kind of stuff. It's really cute. Hallmark would eat their little hearts out. But I'm with you. And if the Antonio Brown comp is anything worth a darn, then that sounds beautiful. And he's being drafted at wide receiver 43. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, the upside is so crazy on him.
Yeah.
Like, he is projected,
I took him
right?
in the league with you, by the way. I stole him right out of front of your little balls and I grabbed him right in front of your face. So
right now he's being projected by NFL insiders to be the wide receiver 1 on that team.
Yeah.
OBJ hasn't stepped on an NFL field since February 13th, 2022.
He has no meniscus, people. He has no meniscus. Not a meniscus to be found.
Yeah. Rashad Bateman has already gotten a cortisone shot in the same foot look, Rashad Bateman's already got a cortisone shot in the same foot he injured last year. Okay.
Of course he did. Of course.
He in his first 2 seasons, Bateman has missed
the moon.
Bateman's missed 16 games in his first 2 seasons. Okay. You want to know how many games Flowers missed due to injury during college? Yeah. Big old Cerro. Yeah. So I mean, right now, the data is suggesting Flowers is set to be the guy for 17 games this year. And then you have Todd Monken coming in, who is
can I say flower power?
Well, he really is like it's a completely different offensive scheme that they're going to run. So, he is going to be the focal point of that offense in an air offensive attack offense. So
How early are you willing to go on him, and what round? Because right now, say at middle of the 9th round, are you willing to go 8th round on him?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. 12-man
I think
leagues for sure.
Yeah, 12-man league, 8th round. I think it's fair.
Yeah.
I think I did that on you. I think I did the right, and that 8th round was right when I went took him right after that. Yeah, I'm okay with that too. That sounds fair and right and good in this world, because you're getting him still at a discount. I don't think he's going to be wide receiver 43. He could be wide receiver 25. You know.
Yeah,
So-
man. I think he's going to have those big weeks. So just to me, Zay Flowers is I think one of these last kind of like super gems that you can get, because I mean it really does start to tail off. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay, so let's transition real quick. We've got 2 quarterbacks that we're going to talk about. One, dude, come on, freaking mayor of Miami here. I got to bring up Tua. I want to ask just flat out: if you find yourself quarterbackless in these rounds, not sure how your builds are, but if you do find yourself with no QB and Tua comes across your screen, are you dipping on Tua? Are you slurping up some Tua?
you want to know my move? If I'm punting QB, you want to know my move? It's both of these guys. I want Geno and I want Tua. I want Geno and I want Tua.
I agree.
I think if you're punting QB, for me, my strategy, it's interesting this year because the entire industry, experts, fans alike, we've all just come to bypass this late QB model, right? That most experts preach, right? Like this is, value-based drafting, wait on a quarterback, especially when you get 6 points per TD and, get a decent, starter. And, what you typically do is you get 1 to 2 and play QB carousel, right? Like that's the move. And this year they're saying like don't do that because these tiers of quarterbacks are so good. Man, I'm very tempted to punt QB and go to a Geno in high stakes drafts because I just think the upside with both of those guys is crazy. Like, I mean, Tua, okay. We went over when we were doing Tyreek what
Tua was number 1 in yards.
He was number 1 in like everything.
He just got hurt. It was just him being injured. That was it. If you're a Tua friend, right? You think he's gotten thick, he's gotten bulked up, he's gotten some grown ass man muscles now. He's not gonna get ragdolled. I hope not, right? I drafted him in Scott Fish. So I do believe in him. I've drafted him on 2 teams. I'm not gonna lie. I've got Tua mania, right? So I think he is poised if he stays healthy to have a top 5 year at QB. So that is a great leverage, for you if you get him as QB 10 or 12 or even 13 in your league, right in that range. Then you are flexing because you stack him up with one of his wide receivers too, and you're just getting Hail Mary touchdowns after touchdown. So I could definitely see Tua coming as a late round stack option if you got Tyreek in the first or you got Waddle like in the 3rd or 2nd. So he's a wild card motherfucker. That's what he is.
So and this is the other thing that's kind of interesting too. We ain't doctors. I ain't a doctor.
I don't play one on TV.
I don't understand this. Why he's like his injury history is concussions. Okay.
Yeah.
It's been almost a year. Like it's not. This isn't. It's a concussion, right? I mean, what? Like they all get concussions. Like,
right?
We've seen the movie.
Why is this the last? Why is this the Lawrence Taylor concussion?
Yeah. Why is he about to get another concussion? I don't understand. Yeah. I know he started taking. He started taking judo so he could learn how to fall. So like apparently like this is the big thing. Like we,
Balance mind and body.
And I'm glad he took judo. I'm
Yeah, he's
glad
a
he
big
took
boy,
judo.
too. Yeah.
And he did look like he sucked at falling a little bit.
did.
I'll say that. So maybe that's why people are projecting concussions on him. But I mean, to me, if somebody has like a bad knee and they're a mobile quarterback, like then fade them. Like a concussion, the whole league is concussions. Like they wear these weird little handicap helmets now. I mean, if you've played football, every time you hit somebody, you get a little mini concussion. So I think there's been a lot of time. Like if he had a concussion already in preseason, then yes,
right.
we could talk about like there's a lot of risk in drafting this player, but I don't understand why we're baking concussions into the 2023 season for his ADP. I think it's such a value.
I think it's such a value. Here is his response to Ryan Clark's comments that were kind of unprofessional, kind of out of nowhere, kind of criticizing the fact that he did gain weight, which you want to make sure that you can, be stronger. People always are putting on mass. Like, what are you talking about? But anyway, this is to a couple days ago in response to it. I mean, it's a Will Smith-esque, which I like, but we'll see about whose name's getting kept out of whose mouth. But I like what Tua says. See how I push play if I'm like an idiot. No, I can't even hear it.
Unmute it. There you go.
No, I think actually I have the website muted. Hold on, because I didn't. I don't want it to like jump in on us.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, unmute the website itself. There you go. See, and now I got you. Okay,
right.
Here we go.
Sorry, I'm saying something.
He had some criticism about you, saying that you didn't hit the gym in the off season, you didn't follow nutritionist advice.
Yeah,
If he were here, what would you say to him?
he probably knows more about me than I know about myself. I don't know. Ryan's been out the league for some time, so I don't know. It's a little weird when other people are talking about other people when they're not that person. So it's just a little weird. I come back. I like my background is like I come from a Samoan family. Like respect is everything, but it does get to a point where, hey, little easy on that, buddy, because I think we're pretty tough-minded people, and if we need to get scrappy, we can get scrappy too. Just saying.
Is he about to beat that guy up? What's going on?
He's about to go after Ryan Clark, former Washington Redskin, who famously was run over by LaDainian Tomlinson. It was one of the best overtime. I know because I was playing against LD there, and he just he crushed me. It was terrible.
What did he ask him? I couldn't hear it. What did he say?
Basically, what he said was, did you hear Ryan Clark criticized his diet? He said he didn't get a nutritionist. He's got fat, basically, eating, spaghetti or whatever, And so he's just like, it's weird for another man to like he's like, he knows more about my body than I do. And so you just see somebody who is trying to be healthier or whatever. And even that gets criticized by mainstream NFL media, as Denny would say. It's all propaganda.
Does he have like his location services on his phone on, and like is he always at McDonald's?
These are all the phones of the reporters, and what they do is they leave them on the table, and then they.
No, I'm just saying, how does he know he eats bad? Is he like you always see him in the fast food lines? Like there's Tua again.
He's playing on like Hawaiian stereotypes, and Samoan. He's basically crapping on somebody and assuming he didn't get a nutritionist and it wasn't, on a plan. And I don't know why he's doing that. It doesn't make any sense. So I think he's come out and said he's sorry, but you can just see even the national media just kind of losing their mind on how to process Tua, which, hey man, let them lose their minds. Another person whose mind is lost in my mind is Geno Smith. He finished like 5th last year, 5th or 6th. You can get him as like QB 13 to 18, depending on the league. I got him so late in a couple leagues. What's going on here?
Dude, Geno Smith in the BFFs finished 5th. right?
Right,
It went
right.
Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Hurts, Geno Smith. Okay.
Geno.
I, 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 I,
30 touchdowns,
here's the thing.
4,200
I'll-
yards.
I'll probably if I punt QB, I'll probably draft Tua before Geno. I
Me
think
too.
I want,
Me too.
but I think I want
Get 'em both.
Geno more than I want Geno. The cool thing is that nobody wants him, so I'll just make sure I get them both
Yeah.
because Tua's going ahead of him in ADP. So I'll probably go ahead and, if I get to round 10 or whatever and I don't have a QB, I'll draft Tua, and then round 11 I'll get Geno because he'll still be there.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
this is crazy to me, and it does suck. Jackson Smith-Njigba broke his wrist. Okay, so that is a ding
How long
on
is he out for?
not long, not at the most a quarter of a fantasy season, right?
Okay,
Like I
not
think
great.
not great. I do think that harkens back to my fade on Tyler Lockett. I think his ADP is basically fine now.
Yeah.
Because of that injury. Otherwise, I would be still on the fade. But Geno Smith last year, dude. I mean, listen to these stats. Has the most rushing yards that he ties for his rookie season when all he did was rush as a Jet. Right.
Right.
It's not great, but it's nice. 366 yards. Like that's what you want in a modern NFL quarterback. Like, like the Tom Brady era is dead. Like they got to be able to rush 300 yards. They got to have a little bit of mobility. He's got that. Then meanwhile, he goes for over 4,000 yards and 30 TDs last year.
Yeah.
And this is like, this is a guy that's going last in the draft for QBs, him and like Daniel Jones. I'll take Geno all day over any of those late round guys.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't get him, you can always swoop down and get some golf,
Yep. Like there's late round guys. Like there's Daniel Jones, there's Goff, there's Geno, there's Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is available as well. Yeah.
Right. But to me, I'm most excited about Geno Smith because I just think the season that he had last year was just huge. It's like when you see it, I think it's one of the coolest stories ever. Honestly, I think he's basically a lighthouse for all backup QBs in the leagues. Your Zach Wilson, your Trey Lance's. Like,
yeah,
you can, if you have the humility,
you can do it.
You could stay in the league, continue to learn how to play the position, and then emerge with the right, system, the right coach, and have a Geno Smith like year. And I mean, I think he's poised to have an even better year this year. Like, and I mean, dude, his numbers last year, like, all right, look, here's Geno Smith. Okay. Money throws, number 3. Deep ball completion percentage, number 5. Pressured completion percentage, number 5. True completion percentage, number 4. I mean, this is a beautiful quarterback that you can get at the end of your draft. Like BFFs finish 5th, like you could just load up at every position and then have Geno Smith.
5th in DraftKings, 5th in PPR points overall too, ahead of Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Kirk Cousins. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Geno. I grabbed him in a few leagues already, and my wife grabbed him yesterday. So it's runs in the family. Yeah. Speaking of running, I think that's a good transition. Talk about your guy Khalil Herbert here. I think I pulled him up here. He's our next guy. You played last year, or in the last couple of years. Now he's poised with Rashawn Johnson to kind of be. I think you also have
Deonta Foreman.
Deonta Foreman there too. Yeah, you got some people there. But talk about why you like Khalil Herbert. You can get him late, 8th round. What's your thought process here?
Yeah, I mean Khalil Herbert. is so to me, if you're going punt RB, he's one of the most exciting guys that you can get really, really late. You
If
know,
you're doing a little Denny Carter 0 RB, this is one of your boys. You got to target this guy. This is one of your.
I just think this year's draft is I'm very excited because I just think there's so many different ways to play it if you're able to get your guy. So, like, if you punt QB, you can get Tua, you can get Geno. If you punt RB,
Right, you can get Khalil.
To me, this is a must-have guy, right? Like, depending on how hard you punt it, if this is your RB1, you really punted. So hopefully you're locked at every other position. I would prefer to make him your RB2 because I don't think, the upside is crazy. I think with Justin Fields, but either way, okay, like last year, Montgomery, okay, he's not as good as David Montgomery. I'm not saying he's going to step
You're
in.
not equating.
I'm not equating. Okay, Montgomery finishes as the low end RB2. Okay, Montgomery was also injured. So Montgomery finishes as low end RB2. Okay, with injury, Khalil Herbert, I think he started one game, finishes as almost an RB3. So I remember the people who picked him up last year, they were all just like, get rid of Montgomery. Like, Khalil Herbert was mad efficient when he came in on that offense. And the other guys that you said, Roshan Johnson, Deontay Foreman, everyone's saying he's the early down back and he's the passing down back. It's gonna get varied, but he is like in the modern NFL landscape, there's almost no RB1s anymore. Like, you got CMC, you got Saquon, Bijan looks like he's going to be that. Austin Eckler, and then that's kind of almost it. Every other person is potentially dealing with a B partner. Yeah,
Cam
you're going to
Akers,
deal with
Cam Akers looks like he's Cam Akers might be one of those sneaky guys who's not got a lot of comp, but we'll see.
Yeah, okay, that's another good one. Okay, there's a few out there. Here's this guy in the 8th or 9th round that is really looking to fit that model where he's not going to be dealing with the committee as much. Like, it's going to be his offense and the other people are going to be there to spell him. So
yeah,
I'm excited for Khalil Herbert if depending on my build.
Yeah, I'm not going to be getting as much Khalil as you will be, but I'm not going to shy away if I see him dangling. Which sometimes they dangle. You never know. Sometimes people fall, and it always happens. I have a question for you. We always talk about upside and offenses. What do you think about Sky Moore this year? He is a wide receiver 2 candidate. I did write about him. I can scroll down to my friend Sky Moore. Let's see. Oh, there he is. Right. And it comes down to also somebody who we're fading. And I'll just read the intro. I just wrote, shocker, exclamation point. Kadarius Toney is out.
Yep.
Comment. Go. Hot take it. What do you imagine that? Right.
Yeah. Braids and fades.
Right. Fading. We're fading. We've been stop. We've got to talk about the fades. I'm fading Kadarius. You got to fade him. He's a once a week wonder and 3 times a year.
I'm fading him too. To me this year, I am not trying to. All right, look. Here's the thing. Like last year, okay, I drafted Kyle Pitts on almost every team.
Yeah.
Do you know? I did. I drafted him on every team except for Scott Fish. What made Kyle Pitts the worst draft ever was like, it's better if a player gets injured. Like if Julio Jones like tears his ACL in week 2 and you spend a 1st round pick, that's better than having a tight end get you like 77 points or whatever he got, and you continue to hold on to him, okay? Because he just clogs up your team.
Yeah.
So Kadarius Toney, to me, I played like he was another reason why last year I was always dealing with just like tough decisions on the waiver wire.
You're a waiver wire guy.
I had him on almost every single team. Okay.
Heavy Tony.
I love Kadarius Toney. I think if he is on the football field, get him and start him. Here's what I know. This is all I know from what I've seen, and this is what the data suggests. That guy moves too fast and too quick for a human body. Like he
hurts himself.
He
defies physics.
He defies physics 100%.
He hurts his body because physics can't keep up with what he can do.
He hurts his body, and
physics theory. He's busting physics.
I'm not drafting him because he just looks like the other thing that's annoying about, like, okay, so you could so I'll still draft Jackson Smith and Jigba, right? Because you're going to put him on the IR. Yeah, you're going to put him on the IR. What you're going to get with Kadarius Toney is every week he's going to be questionable, and then you have to like tinker with your roster and drop player, and then you can't pick somebody up because you have to move. Like you have to either move him out of the IR.
He's going to fuck up your team, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
speaking from experience over there, Mike Cash Collins.
Listen, like Jameson Williams, he's another guy that like he's a clogger. I'm not waiting.
Might be gambling on a preseason game right now.
I'm not waiting at Michael Thomas. That's another fade for me too. Like I'm not
like Michael Thomas because he's not very. He's cheap. He's cheap.
He is cheap, but
that's cheap.
Again, I'm not dealing with anybody this year that that has that potential to just like deal with clogging my roster. You know, I mean, Michael Thomas was the same thing last year. Like you had to hold on to him, and the odds of Michael Thomas getting injured are about the same as
astronomical.
Yeah. I think like Draft Sharks. So like Draft Sharks for Gabe Davis, right?
Yeah.
Like 36% chance he gets injured in 2023. Projected missed games 1.5. Durability 5. Okay. 64% chance from Michael Thomas. Durability 1.79. Like it's the worst. Like
you mentioned Gabe Davis, right?
Yeah.
So this is the intro to Michael Thomas's you could call it his obituary, his whatever it is. I wrote this in Wide Receiver 2 Theory this year. I wrote the only group of truthers down bigger than the aforementioned Gabe Davis truthers are Michael Thomas truthers. And I said, I am sure a few egomaniacs are clinging to a Wi-Fi life in a public library, muttering Thomas's name under their breath as they map out his Phoenix-like rise to fantasy resplendence. I don't think he is there, but I think as 11 to 12 points a game, 13 points a game, that's what you need. He can do that. That's not that many points. That's not that. I think he can kind of hover around that 11, 12 point and be a wide receiver 4 on your team, a wide receiver 3. It's wide receiver 41. So if you map that out, that's a wide receiver 4, right? So like, I'll take a wide receiver 4 if Michael Thomas is your wide receiver 4,
I mean, for 3 games last year, he was a monster,
right?
So
I'll
but
do that,
again,
but not trusting him as a wide receiver 2 on my team or as a wide receiver 3, because if he does get hurt, then you're fudged. You're just fudged. You're back up against the wall, fudged again and again.
I mean, I'm not playing around with guys.
You're not playing with fire. You're saying no, Michael Thomas. No, get it away from me. You're bad.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, if
I'll dance with the devil one more time.
If he keeps dropping, but that's the thing. Somebody's going to pick him up because somebody's going to want to roll the dice because the upside's there. And yeah, I'm just not doing it. Like I'm out on Traylon Burks already. Like I don't. I think his ADP is too high. I think his ADP
coming off an injury, so
I ain't doing it. I
You
ain't
got
doing
DeAndre
it.
Hopkins, you got Chig, you got Derrick Henry, who loves to get
And
the
you
touches.
and you got a boring offense that isn't going to do a lot.
You got Mike
so.
Vrabel, who wants to tackle people in practice and build statues to
Establish
Bill
the run.
Belichick.
They're going to run it for 3 downs.
Loves establishing the run. My favorite about them is Derrick Henry goes in for 2 plays. Everyone comes up to stop the run. Then they bring in a 4 wide receiver set with guys you never heard of, and then they turn the ball back over on. They got a punt. You're like, oh shit, So, and what are you gonna do? But I'll be honest with you, I didn't write about him, but one friend that I like, and I want to get your thoughts on him on a little bounce back season. But it all hinges, really, it all freaking hinges on Deshaun. Massage me down Watson, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. I'm a little hesitant, but I do like Elijah Moore, maybe as your wide receiver 5. I mean, just upside. They have him in the backfield doing little toss sweeps and little reverses and little hitches and things and getting space. And he's just so freaking fast. He's little. I like him. So I've been over the Elijah Moore.
Here are my guys for last year. Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas was definitely one of my guys.
Yeah, you got him.
Kadarius Toney was one of my guys. These are guys I drafted. Thanks to going to the Fantasy Expo, Kenneth Gainwell was one of my guys. I drafted him everywhere. Thanks to my co-hosts, glowing.
Never heard of him. Never heard of that guy.
And you know who else? You know who else was one of my guys? I drafted on like every team. Elijah Moore. I drafted him everywhere. I would get so excited in round 7 when I would get Elijah Moore.
Get a little more.
So last year was definitely tough. I had to whittle together a lot of different teams to get into the playoffs.
Sucked. You're telling me.
I still ended up doing okay, but I had to deal with all of those problems on those teams. So to me, Elijah Moore, I'm like, if Kadarius Toney was healthy, I would be all in on Kadarius Toney. Elijah Moore's healthy. He's not on the same team. It is very. I love what you can get Elijah Moore in the 13th round. Like he's going late. Like he's just plummeted.
He will not go that late around you or me in any of these drafts. Just so you know, I mean, it's just not going to happen.
Where does 444 have him?
So 444 has him. Let's check him out here. He is wide receiver 50. So that is just second.
Yeah, 119. Okay, this is
11th round, 10th, end of the 10th, 11th. In that Rashad Bateman, Russell Wilson.
Fantasy Pros has him in the 12th, midway through the 12th. Yeah. Right? That's ECR rankings for him.
Stupid.
I mean, that is a money late round depth pick. Yeah. I mean, Deshaun Watson too is I mean, the way the tiers break down, you have the Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Mahomes tier. Then you have the next tier, which is
Watson's at the beginning of the 7th. We just didn't talk about him. He's before Tua.
Yeah, Watson is like that last of that second round tier with Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Justin Fields, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, and then it's Deshaun Watson. He's the last guy that's going to go out of those guys. Yeah, and he's a very, very exciting, I think, punt QB option. Yeah. And Elijah Moore, oh man,
he undergirds that.
You can get him in the 12th round, dude. Right. Like I mean, somebody with potential, 220 point type season, we've already seen what he's capable of, if you throw him the football. And last year they were just one dimensional. It was like Garrett Wilson is better than him, so that's who we're going to throw the ball to. And he literally he had how many targets did he have last year? Let's see. What do you guess?
How many targets he had last year?
Yeah, I mean it was like absurd.
I'm clueless.
Tight end type number 65 targets.
65. I was gonna say 80,
it's
maybe
65 targets last year.
That's stupid.
I mean, it's ridiculous. So
that's stupid. That's just
Right.
ridiculous. I'll tell you one thing though. By the way, I shout out your boy Cortland Sutton with Jerry Jeudy going down, and then Mims. Those guys. If you believe Marvin Mims, if you believe at all in the ageless wonder that is Russell Cook 'em up Wilson.
So next week on the show, for anybody listening, we're going to do like basically, because you're probably done drafting, we're basically going to do rounds 13, 14 / guys who could be on the waiver wire,
Yeah.
like Marvin Mims,
Right.
He
for sure,
could,
Marvin Mims.
he like there. I definitely think there's, like going back to who you said for Sky Moore, like, I mean, I feel like if you're gonna bet on the Chiefs, I guess that's the best bet. I am so troubled. Who I'm interested in, and we'll talk about next week is MVS.
You do like MVS? He's way down here too. He's free.
Way down, way down.
Free wide receiver 68.
I mean, you would have to think Sky Moore steps up, but what did Juju Smith-Schuster end up last year as? Like, low end wide receiver 3. Like, I think he was like wide receiver 37 or something like that. So I'm not as juiced on Sky Moore as you are.
Wide receiver 27.
Juju was
100 targets,
okay.
933 yards, only 3 touchdowns. It's 185 points. I mean,
yeah. I mean, they need somebody to do it.
They do.
I mean, in DFFs though, he was sub 200. So I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's okay. You can play him. He's a low end wide receiver 3. So if Sky Moore is that, and you're building accordingly for like a, he's like a, a flex. He the upside though, that's the thing. The upside is there. I just remember last year people getting so hyped on him. So. It is Kansas City. They do seem to have kind of a way they kind of build in with newer players. So I mean,
the opportunity is going to be there. According to Nate Christensen, this is of the arrowheadpride.com, and they write for the team. You know what I mean? Like, this is one of those little like things where it's like the team newspaper, and he said Moore's going to be asked to be the Chiefs' #1 wide receiver going into the season, a cosmic leap from the role he had in his rookie season. It says comparisons have been made to longtime backer wide receiver Randall Cobb. You remember Randall Cobb? He won you a championship when you and I dropped him. You paid $3 for him, $1 more than our other friend, who's hoarding, silver cigarettes and seances. He put $2 and you beat him that year, and you beat him with Randall Cobb. So I like those kind of comparisons with Sky Moore because he's not on anybody's radar. He's just somebody who nobody thinks matters.
There's nothing better in auction free agency than beating someone by $1. Like that is
a couple of times.
It's really up there in all the feeling. Like, I mean, it's up there. It's up there with winning a championship.
Yeah.
I mean, for real, like it's so exciting. Like, it just like your whole day is great. You could just like you could be in a horrible mood, and then you could just go look, and you'd be like, but I did get that guy for $1 more.
My favorite was a couple years ago. I forget where everybody was bidding on somebody in one of these sleeper leagues, and I bid like $42 or something. Underneath me was somebody who bid like $41. I was just like,
the $1 win.
Oh, you son of a bitch! I got you by $1. It just made me feel so good. I mean, that was glowing.
Yeah.
So, we got a couple more guys here before we're gonna get out of here. Let me just touch on Romeo Doubs. His wide receiver numbers are going up. His ADP, he's jumped 4 wide receivers in the last week since I wrote my wide receiver 2 article about him. Maybe
in the market there.
I am moving the market. Well, maybe it was Denny Carter. I will read this though because I like it. It's funny. I said, Romeo, oh Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? No, this isn't Shakespeare. It's me looking for Romeo Doubs ADP, and it's wide receiver 60s when it was right, but the Packers have 70% of their targets are up for grabs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Denny Carter, when he came on my show, he had a great point. He said, you could speak of Dobbs being either neck and neck with Christian Watson as the top wide receiver for the Packers, or maybe even just the wide receiver one for the Packers. He said he had by far the best separation numbers according to Green Bay wideouts in 2022. And, he doesn't rely on the huge play like Christian Watson. And that's from Denny. So I do like him. He's free too. You know what I mean?
I
So
stamp it. I co-stamp it.
Yeah,
Yep.
these late round guys.
Now, a round 12 guy, that's a
Yeah.
that's a really beautiful round 12 guy.
Well, and he's right up here against somebody like Jameson Williams,
Right.
who we talked about. And so
Fading.
you might go, who am I going to go for? Well, Jameson Williams has that upside when he comes back. I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think.
Meanwhile, almost like a third of your fantasy season, more than that, you're gonna have to just deal with like you have one less bench spot on your team.
Yeah, because the
Not
gambler,
doing it. Not doing it.
Yeah, the gambler gotta know when to fold, know when to hold. Right. So yeah, I'm out on Jameson. I'm in on Dobbs, and you're there with me. Any other guys in these later rounds? I know we both like a running back. Let's talk about that, because when we were at the Fantasy Expo, our guy JJ Zachariason, he threw some shade Najee Harris's way, RB 11 here. End of the middle of the third round, he said no to Harris. He does not like and he was singing all the Jalen Warren RB 46 praise. What have you seen? Are you in that camp too? Are you fading Warren? No,
I'm not. No, I'm in the grab Jalen Warren here in the 12th.
You're
round.
in the JJ Zachariason camp. You're
no, but I'm not in the JJ Zachariason camp of fading Najee Harris.
You're for both. You like both guys.
I like both. Oh,
you like a little menage Pittsburgh Steelers.
I do. I like a little menage Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think this is so to me. This is like exactly where you're just like now you're dealing with this. These running backs here: Elijah Mitchell, Ezekiel Elliott, Devon Achane, however you say his name, Jerick McKinnon. Like these are the late round, B's of the committee.
I do like Tank Bigsby down there, by the way, though. He's
Tank Bigsby. Okay, to me, of all of those guys, that is going to be the B, Jalen Warren has the most upside. So I mean, I'm hyped off that. What do you have? A 60-yard run in preseason. We did see the explosivity. Yeah, we saw the explosivity last year. He is going to be able to function in a PPR role.
Yep, PPR.
It's not an exciting pick. I'm not, I'm not.
I like it. It's a real good depth pick though in the 12th round.
Pick. Right. I'm not. If somebody gets Jalen Warren, I'm not going to be like, oh God, no. Like this is the 12th round. Yeah, 12th round. So
right.
No, it doesn't really. It's all just kind of.
It's not too bad. It's not that bad. Right.
I mean, I don't think he's gonna really do too much to the value of Najee Harris either. Like I think Najee Harris is gonna be the guy down in the red zone, and I think Najee Harris is gonna have a great season. I think his ADP's right, and if he's there, you take him. But I think Jalen Warren, if you have Najee, then definitely maybe you are a little sad if you don't get Jalen Warren, because I think that's the ultimate handcuff to me.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the last pick that we're going to talk about.
I don't even want Cole Kmet. Let's just save the tight ends for next week, because
listen to this. This is good though, because look, and this is our guy John Paulson. I love him from 444.
I don't feel like he's even 12th round worthy. Like there's so many guys.
Well, listen to what he says. He says from week 8 last year he was tight end 4. That's all you need.
Right.
From week 8 on. That was the last half of the freaking season. He was tight end 4. And he's got an explosive tight end. A quarterback who can get out of the pocket and separate and get him. He can move downfield. He's a massive man on the goal line, too. This is upside. I love him. So much. I'm in. I didn't want to put him next week if people are not listening or they're like, get Cole Kmet. He's a great late round tight end. I'm all endorsing him. I'm full chub on him.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, no, he was Cash's guy for the show, so I'm glad you're in. I mean, I'm in as well.
Nice.
It's just interesting this year.
Tight ends are a bit of a clus.
It's just all those. There's a lot of options with these late round guys. To me, I picked him, just because the upside and the only place that offense. What you said, he finished tight end 4 weeks.
The last
8?
8 weeks of the season. From week
That's
8 on.
crazy. Yeah, that's a great stat. And this was in the worst passing offense in the league last year.
Right.
So the only place he can go is up, right?
She said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of up, and that's what she said. X-rated Triple X is up now, and
Triple X.
I'm getting it off with a start here with my man Michael Rappaport, and he just says, "Ha ha 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 ha! You cheating fat pig! 67 is pro level. This piglet is deranged." He's talking about Donald Trump, and so here's what Donald Trump wrote. This is on Truth. He wrote, "I'm pleased to report," which is so funny. He's pleased to report, like it's like 1950, for those who care, for those that care, that he's using that in 3 that care that I just won the senior club championship. Must be over 50 years old, ! At Bedminster Trump National Golf Club, shooting a round of 67. Now
that's so good.
Some people will think that it sounds low, but there is no hanky-lanky.
Hanky-lanky.
Hanky-lanky. What are you talking about? Many people watch. Plus, I am surrounded by Secret Service agents. Not much you can do, even if you wanted to. And I don't.
For some reason, I'm just a good golfer athlete.
For some reason, I'm just a good golfer / athlete. Right. I have won many club championships. And it is always a great honor, right? So that is tremendous, right? Watch this video from the event. It's even better.
Okay. Let's see.
Here he steps up, does his practice swing.
Okay.
Oh, he shanked it.
These are people watching. So listen to their commentary.
Oh,
they go, I hope he shanks it, right? And that's what they say. And then they're watching. They're like, okay, here we go.
Oh, he shanked it.
Oh, he shanked it.
Oh my god, I got that on video.
He got him. He hit it so far. How do you get a 67? Get the fuck out of here. So I thought all that stuff. Michael Rappaport notwithstanding, I don't care about him, but Donald Trump was hilarious, and then his golf is hilarious. So I just thought you'd enjoy that because I thoroughly.
At least he didn't shoot an 18 like Kim Jong-il.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Too funny. So, all right. Which am I going for you? For which yours?
Scroll up. Okay. You're gonna win, but this was mine. I really like this. This is from Shitpost Gateway.
Yeah.
An ex-girlfriend, they're breaking up. Text someone, DMs them. I faked every orgasm. And then dude's response is, I saw every meme you sent me at least a month before you showed it to me.
That's
burn.
Like devastating.
Sick burn.
Yeah.
Sick burn.
That's terrible. I do like her, but that's a crusher.
Yeah.
I think I do win just because it's Donald Trump, because it's hard to be funnier than Donald Trump.
Yeah.
But I've got something I think you'll like. This is football related, and I think it's fitting as we start the season. This says, this is a guy who just says, my nephew's 5 years old, and all he does is watch other kids on YouTube playing video games. I asked him politely, why don't you play video games yourself? He goes, you watch other people play football. Why don't you play yourself? Piece of shit. So I fucking turned off the Wi-Fi.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. What a sharp little response.
Yeah, I know.
That's hilarious.
Why do you watch other people play football when you don't play yourself? So I think it was really funny. I
That was
like the
awesome.
whole thing. So
Yeah.
man. Well, yeah, we will be back. You said next week we'll be back to talk about the sleepers, kind of the late round sleepers, and kind of your waiver wire guys, like you said, the Mims of the world, who probably will be available or might be on the cusp of being picked up, because there are injuries for the Broncos, and teams attrition is real, and there are people who can step up. So no, this has been a great show as always, my friend, and please follow Mike at he is the Ralph Macho. I am at Nimble W Numbers. We're the FF Millionaires on Twitter. Collins, anything else to say as we kind of jump out of here on the end?
Yeah. Also, anybody who wants to, we have one spot open in the
Yeah, one more
Fantasy
spot open.
Millionaires League. So if you want to hop in and play with the Millionaires, it's $50
Bracket.
buy-in, and we're gonna draft probably next Wednesday, the night before the season.
I
So
like to have all the data up to date. We don't like any of these like drafting in June. Like, oh, guys are for the season. Yeah, I
it's the
drafted
best.
in June.
It's I have a draft. Like, here's what I have left. I have a draft tonight.
Yes.
I have a family draft on Wednesday.
Nice.
I have Saturday, and then
BFFs,
I
Sunday.
still, the BFFs, and then I still will have the Fantasy Millionaires, and then my second favorite league, we draft on Thursday during the game.
During the game.
So
yeah.
I still got a bunch. I'm jazzed up.
Hey.
So yeah, that's it. Thanks for tuning in, and peace, love, and success everywhere, and death, destruction, and devastation to your fellow fantasy league mates.
Fucking